Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us and welcome back to yet another exciting Zevoli Round Corner episode. Noting that you guys are seeing new faces, don't be alarmed, you are in good hands. It is just a clear confirmation that our series is growing the right momentum by getting more subject matter experts to come in and talk about their insightful perspectives on the ins and outs of the ESG industry. Allow me to introduce myself. I am your host, Mponyana Munama, Business Development and Advisory Manager at Zevoli Growth Partners. I'm not alone. I'll introduce my beautiful guest. Good morning.
Good morning, Ponyana.
How
How
are
are you?
you?
We in sync.
I know, right? How are you?
I'm good, thanks, and you?
I'm good. Thank you for asking. Introduce yourself, Olu.
Okay. Thank you so much. My name is Fulpelo Ramulipo, and I'm an entrepreneur. Interesting enough, Ponyane, and to our audience. I've been on both sides of the world, like as an ESD beneficiary, and now I'm on the other side, partnering with SMMEs as an ESD project manager at Zevoli Growth Partners. I really am excited to share a little bit of my insights.
Yeah.
And for a new face, the intro was quite good. Thank you.
Thank you. Yours was great as well. Um, Follow, I want us to do something. I want us to take our audience on a three-phase journey
Okay.
about the topic today, right? Defining what the purpose is of the topic and how do we make it intentional in impact. And then from there, the clear focus on the measurement of that impact. Because I believe what we do as Zevoli Growth Partners is that we drive the journey of our clients by becoming the we drive the journey of their programs, right? By moving away from transactional programs to transformational programs. Today we'll be talking about designing purpose-led interventions. From your context, what does that mean to us? To you and I, having been in this industry, what does that mean?
And it's a nice word to actually throw in,
Yeah.
so which is quite good. For me, right, purpose means intentionality. Like you're very intentional
Yes.
in terms of what you're doing, the type of change or transformation that you actually want to see, like, yeah, by empowering an SMME, could be through capacity or either technical, what's this, technical skills building, but you're very, very intentional, as to why you're doing that, what it means in the greater context of like, what's this, a country's agenda, and also at the same time, like clarity, there's clarity in terms of like what you as an organization are trying to achieve by partnering with SMMEs for their development.
And I mean, by just saying the country's agenda, designing purpose-led interventions will make sure that we are creating an impactful community impact.
Yeah.
So it's just not focusing on the client or the SMEs, but everything at large,
Yes.
right? Because there's socioeconomic challenges that we are trying to solve for ultimately. Now, let's look at what our audience should consider when designing these purpose-led interventions.
Oh, okay. And key in terms of organizations when they're designing these interventions is really, really understanding the SMMEs that they're actually partnering with. That's very, very
Right.
critical. It's not just about, okay, here's an SMME and like, yeah, let's get them onto this ESD program. Whilst in the process of actually designing, like, yeah, there's you need understanding in terms of like, okay, by empowering this SMME, what does that mean to us as an organization? Will we also be able to integrate them, like, yeah, into a system? What kind of needs do they actually have, as SMMEs? And what kind of impact, like, yeah, would we create by partnering with this SMME? So, like, yeah, essential, it's important to look at like the amount, what's this, the capacity that building that you want to invest into that SMME, and also like, yeah, the technical needs that they actually need, and build from there.
Yeah, because it's not a one size fits all, right? It's not just getting into a classroom and training them. The importance for me, I believe, lies in the customization of their interventions,
And
right?
you're spot on.
All right.
Yeah.
So that there's either two forms that we are doing. It's either we capacity building them through our interventions, or we are technically building them through our interventions. How do we measure impact from interventions?
And the measurement in itself, like, yeah, you'll use a dual focus,
Yeah.
to measure the impact. So on the one side, right, you want to measure the impact on the SMME, and then on the other side, you want to measure the impact, like, yeah, on the organization.
Right.
Within the organization, like, yeah, you're most probably looking at things like, okay, right, did we meet our targets? Like, yeah, the integration of SMMEs into your value chain system.
Right.
That's very, very critical. And then when you go to the entrepreneur, right, like, you want to measure things like, has there been increase in revenue? Like, yeah, is the business actually growing? Are they actually hiring people? Which is essentially very, very critical.
And I think then those are our key performing indicators, right?
Yeah.
Because we do not want to find ourselves actually measuring impact at the end. We want to measure impact throughout the program. So from the start of the program, defining these interventions both for the corporate, for the client, as well as the SMMEs, right? How do we track them?
So, and it's a continuous journey,
Of
you know.
course,
So, like,
it's
yeah,
ongoing. It
the
never
mistakes,
ends.
the mistakes that I've seen, like, yeah, within the industry is that, like, you want to measure all these things, like, right at the end, you know. So, like, yeah, it's very important that, like, yeah, as you start the program, right, you initially, like, yeah, you're tracking. It's like real-time tracking, and this could be done, like, yeah, through there's various tools that we use. The check-ins,
Of
you know, with the
course.
SMMEs. There's I know at Zevoli we also use our mentors to actually just check the progress, like, yeah, with our SMMEs. There is through the reporting. I'm not sure, like, yeah, I think I forgot the fourth one. There were four things that I actually wanted to highlight, but I hope you're getting the gist
Yeah.
of it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I think that maybe the last one that you wanting to actually highlight is the accountability
Mm.
and the transparency in the tracking, so that everybody has clear sight that we are staying the course, right?
Yeah. And it keeps entrepreneurs, right, like, yeah, accountable to their own growth, you know, and the transparency side, like, yeah, it's just like client saying, you know, like, yeah, if the interventions that we're rolling out for our beneficiaries, if they're working. And for us, it helps us in terms of just measuring if, like, yeah, we're doing well, right, in
And
terms of,
committing to what we
yes,
said,
what we
right?
said, and also if there's adjustments that need to make, you know, like, yeah, we then quickly are able to actually make those adjustments.
Okay. To our audience, we've really covered the first segment of the chat. Please pop us any questions that you may have that you would like us just particularly on the definition of the purpose, designing purpose-led interventions. If you've got any questions that you would like us to just answer, we would love to hear from you.
Yes.
Let's get into it, right? We've spoken about defining. Let's talk about designing. Let's double click on these interventions. What do we find inside? What are the forms of interventions? And I think you've said it, but I want us to unpack them, right? What are they and what's inside of them?
Oh, okay. So, like, yeah, within the interventions, you find that, okay, there's your capacity building interventions. And with capacity buildings, like, those interventions are mainly, like, yes, just getting the basics right, you know, like your business skills. Yeah, it's mostly your business skills. And then which would be like, you generally have like master classes in there, you know, for the SMMEs. And then, like, there's the second one, which is the technical, like,
Right.
yeah, way in, like, yeah, then now this now becomes like more one-on-one. It's customized for the SMMEs development. You know, you find that typically, like, yeah, let's say a mining company, like, has invested in a few beneficiaries.
Right.
You'd find that, like, yeah, within the technical, like, yeah, capacity building, we'll invest more on, like, yeah, just the certifications that they need for them to operate and thrive, you know, within within that industry.
And how do we strike a balance? Because there's always been a debate about how do we manage the two to coexist and run parallel, right? Because one focuses on processes and systems, and then the other one focuses on compliance.
Yeah. So And the two are very, very important. Okay.
Yes.
So like, yeah, it's important that like, yeah, the capacity building lays the foundation, for technical. Think about this in the form of like, let's say you're building a house.
Yeah.
Okay. So where capacity building is concerned, this is you actually building the house. Okay. You have the structure. And then when it comes to technical, right, that's when you now start deciding what you want to put in
In
this
the
house
house.
that you've actually
Yes.
created,
Yes.
so, and that's why, and I'm going to go back to, what, like, yeah, it's capacity first, and then like, yeah, the technical in itself. The result thereof, like if you get these two right, because they're complementary.
Right.
So the result thereof is that like you'll find as an outcome, and this is mostly SMME struggle, where they'll tell you, oh, I need funding, I need this. When you have the house and the tools inside your house, right? That's capacity, and then the technical. It becomes very easy now to start. Attracting, funding opportunities
Right.
for your actual business.
Right. And now let's talk about the chicken and the egg
Mm.
situation. We always have it in the industry to say which one comes first. Is
Yeah.
it capacity building, or is it the technical compliance element of it that comes first, right? Let's talk about that. Which one do you believe informs or drives the other?
So it's capacity first, right? Technical, and then as a result of that, right, then you unlock the funding.
Take us through the journey. Build that golden needle thread for us. What does it look like? Because people, or rather SMEs, come in and they're like, no, I don't want this, I want that, and they often forget the KPIs.
Yeah.
So let's just unpack that for a bit.
What the KPIs?
The journey,
the journey in itself.
because you said capacity informs
Technical, then
output is funding, so that the interventions are making sure that SMEs are growing, right?
Okay. So, and I want to give an example, maybe so that it actually makes sense. But think of it this way. Okay, I'll give myself an example as an entrepreneur. Suppose I am new into the construction industry, and I'm new, green pea, like, yeah, don't know much. All I know is that, like, okay, like, yeah, I'm an entrepreneur, and I think I really can do this. I have the passion,
Yes.
So, but like what's lacking, right, is that like I do not have the necessary business skills, and especially within that industry, for me to thrive in that industry,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Critical as SMMEs is that like, yeah, the last thing you want is to be in business as a once-off. The sustainability and continuity of your business is very, very important. And without the right skills, right, the basic skills, just in terms of just running your business, marketing, positioning yourself, growth strategies and everything like that, it becomes very difficult for you to operate like, yeah, within that industry. And then there's the technical part, wherein like you don't really know how to lay brick and cement, like you don't have the necessary certifications, don't know how, you don't know what you actually don't know.
Right.
So in terms of the journey, right, if like I want you to agree with me, right? In terms of the journey, right? Would you agree with me that it's very important as an entrepreneur, with the example that I just gave you, that it's very important for me, right, to be capacitated with the necessary, like, yeah, skills around just managing a business.
Definitely.
Like you're just running a business, because running a business in itself is a process. So if I get the necessary skills, right, even if it's just the basics, to make sure that I'm covered in terms of, capacity, like, yeah, in terms of running the business. So if I get that, which is one, plus the technical side, which is the certifications, like custom custom fit, technical programs. Would you agree with me that it becomes very easy with all of that to unlock further opportunities?
Definitely.
Could be investments,
Yes.
opportunities.
Yes.
And that's because, like my foundation
is laid,
is laid,
right?
yeah.
Because now we've addressed challenges around systems and processes. we've made sure that I'm compliant enough, regulated enough to actually become more attractable to my customers or to my
Yes.
clients. So it is important to have the two run together or in parallel at the same time, so that we are now covering all the sore points that we know SMMEs often battle with. And then these answers are found in the interventions.
Yes.
To our audience, I hope that this talk is so insightful as I find Fulu. And if you do have any further questions, please don't hesitate just to drop them in the chat, and we can actually expand more if it's around the definition of the topic, or if it's around the designing of the topic. Now we get into the last lab.
Are we on the last lap
I
already?
know, it's so
It's so quick.
Okay, Fulu, we've covered this topic nicely and taken the three-phased approach as I suggested at the start of the topic. Let's talk about what would you advise our audience when it comes to designing interventions that reduce dependency and encourage long-term self-sustainability.
I'd have to think about that one.
Yeah.
So what would I
advise them, right? What are the things that they need to make sure that we are building um, or designing purpose-led interventions?
And this is to corporates.
And to corporates.
Okay.
What is our advice? What do they need to reflect on, or what is it that they need to look into? Whether it's, the buy-in from the community, or whether it's making sure that the interventions speak to exactly that, what you've just spoken about, that we build businesses that are able to scale and actually grow in the industries of interest.
So important for corporates, right, is to make sure, right, and they need to be very intentional in terms of helping build businesses, right, that can function independently
Yes.
outside them. There's a lot of mistakes that, as SMMEs, and I've seen this, I've been part of that, is that when you go into programs, there's interventions, and you are solely dependent on that organization for your business to actually thrive. Very, very key, is for organizations or the interventions to be designed, right? And with an objective of making sure that like the business in itself can function independently outside the company that's sponsoring them as a beneficiary.
So it's a trust thing.
Yes.
Right? It's a trust thing. There must be that relationship to say, this is what we are doing for the SMEs and this is what we want to get out of it. And I think it covers nicely into the ecosystem, right? Strategic partnerships. How important are strategic partnerships for the work that we do in the space that we are in?
Number one, ESD doesn't operate in silos. The last thing you actually want, is just throw in the financial investment and boom, you're gone. Very, very important, right, is to create strong ecosystems, get internal buy-in, from the organization. It's internal buy-in, your external, the ecosystem itself, you'll have your external stakeholders, right? Strengthen that. And the external stakeholders can actually feed in nicely even into the programs, interventions,
and
that
the direction
and
of the program, right?
Yeah. And then you have partners like us, we're key ecosystem partners, within the ESD space, and together also with your entrepreneur. It makes a nice ecosystem, and I don't think it can function on its own.
Yeah. And I believe what I'm hearing you say is that far too often what happens is that we've got this wish list of interventions that we often want to find ourselves, giving to our programs because we believe they're the right interventions to address the challenges. But the budgets are always small, and that's why we need the ecosystem players to collaborate and partner, so that we ensure that the baton is carried once, as an impact partner, you've started and stopped, and then for someone else to continue.
The continuity part, like,
Yeah.
yes, I like how you just highlighted that, like, yeah, becomes very, very important.
Yeah, yeah. All right. One last more question, ma'am. Let's talk about strengthening programs with purpose-led interventions. You know, what do we look into? What would be your closing statement around that? You know,
On how to strengthen
interventions or programs through interventions.
Oh, okay. So, what's reflecting, So,
Right.
like a lot of times, like, yeah, we'll design the intervention, we'll roll it out only to start a new one. Very, very important is that, like, yeah, within ESD, right, is that it's a continuous journey.
Right.
Like, yeah, what you essentially want is that, like, you want to build, right, reflect and improve, from where you left off. So reflect on your, what's this, impact reports, right? Reflect on your, what's this?
Even the existing programs
Yes,
need reflection.
Yes, yeah, very, very key. And, like, yeah, improve from that.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's essentially it, right? Reflecting, going back to the drawing board,
Yes.
and enhancing. That's the improvement element of it. Because out of that, we do not ever want to find ourselves repeating or recycling programs. We want to ensure that we build forward.
Yes.
We build an inclusive economy, right? Both from the commercial aspect for our corporates or clients, as well as the SMMEs whom the programs are intended for. All right, to everyone, thank you so much for joining us. It's been an insightful discussion, and we hope that you will come back again. And as Zevoli Growth Partners is what we do usually, supplier diversity, the order of the day. Fulo, let's have a random question come up.
Okay.
Right. Let's move into where should interventions take us? Purpose-led interventions. Where should it take us? In the journey, right? Just tie it into where should they take us in terms of our programs.
I'm trying to think. I'm thinking long and hard, around this. The interventions in itself, they should take us to a place wherein the needle moves, for our beneficiaries and like, yeah, what's this? And our organization. A place wherein we can actually see there's a tangible difference that we're actually making,
Yes.
Like, yeah, I think I highlighted this when I started my intro,
Yes.
But what's this? There's a big part that SMMEs play, like, yeah, within our economy, like, yeah, from what's this, creating jobs, that's like very, very important. We're at a time wherein, like, there's a high unemployment rate within our country, and SMMEs are set or at solving these problems. So, like, yeah, the journey in itself should take us to a place where we see the SMMEs growing, right? Growing in revenue.
Yes.
Should take us to a place where we see them getting more opportunities, or actually their business growing and expanding, so business growth. It should get us to a place where we see corporates also getting a good return on investment, from investing in beneficiaries.
Well, ma'am, I would like to inform you we do have a question in our chat box. And it says, when you advise the design, when you're advising about the designing, at the beginning, even before you implement, or once you've tried and learned to implement the program, and you didn't particularly work in the way that you wanted to or intended to, is it better to design with purpose in the beginning, or once you have the data to inform the design?
So it's better to design, right? Number one, with purpose. You're being intentional. That's very, very critical.
It's the why, right?
Like, yeah, it's the why. Your why is very, very important. What are you trying to achieve? Like, yeah, as you're designing. Equally important, right, is the data to help you drive the program that you have. What's this that supports your why, the why, your intervention. And I've seen within the industry, I've been a beneficiary, like for the longest time ever, wherein you find that a lot of interventions are, it's a one size fits all, like, yeah, we're going to do this masterclass, that masterclass, that masterclass. And in the end, it's just like, it doesn't talk to or meet, like, yeah, what I, as the beneficiary, actually need,
Yes.
so it's a, it becomes just a blanket
Yes.
intervention.
So it gets
That's not
lost in
fit for purpose.
translation.
It's not fit for
Yes.
purpose, like, and what you also find, like, yeah, is that, like, yeah, within the industry, you'll find entrepreneurs, like, yeah, they'll move from one program to the next program to the next program to the next program, like, yeah, which is a problem in itself, right? Because, like, yeah, if we had taken the time to just think of why we're doing it, right, how we're going to do it, and then what's this, and the how, like, yeah, the numbers or the data
The data.
will help you in terms of, like, what, how are we going to do this so that, like, yeah, now this becomes impactful, like,
Yes,
yeah,
right?
program
Because
for the beneficiary.
for me, the word is always intentional, 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 right? And for it to be intentional, we need to have a clear process where the data is built from something that has a clear plan, right? Because then we also want our interventions to land with the right type of SMMEs. I hope this has answered the person in the chat that had asked this question for us. And my last words, I think this has been a very great show, a very great talk, just as a refresher course, even for myself, just to remember why we do what we do in terms of interventions, because it's easy to get lost in trying to just do the right thing,
Yeah.
But when you have the keywords in mind, designing with purpose, measurement in purpose, KPIs, which is now the objectives, it makes it so easy to walk this journey and hope that it addresses the socioeconomic challenges that we have as a country. Okay. All
Thank
right.
you.
Ma'am, thank you for coming in. We look forward to many more.
I'm hoping I'll be on that
Chats.
other side asking you the questions.
I hope so too. I hope so
Yeah.
too. Thank you again. And I keep saying to everyone for joining us. We hope that you join us again and we just give you more insights on different other elements of of business as usual. And then we are going to be signing off and see you next time.
Thank you.
Thank you.